Welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D.
And as you already know, Bridgerton season 3 is out. So technically, this is our second go around for this video because the first video malfunctioned. So, to our demise and pleasure, we're going to talk about it again. So, today we're going to discuss season 1 and season 2 of Bridgerton, give you our thoughts on it, what's coming up in season 3. And don't worry, we're not going to give you spoilers because we'll have another video talking about season 3. And it is whoa. So, we have an article today about from Televisions by Megan Vick for Netflix. And we're going to talk about everything I just said.
Yeah, so this is basically what happened in season 1 and season 2. So we're going to break it down, of course, discuss what happened in season 1 and then season 2. So, like you said, the article is everything you need to remember before Bridgerton season 3 premieres. Obviously, part 1's already premiered. Part 2 does not come out till next month. So, it's still kind of like works, even though this is our second go around trying to make this video. Okay, so love is in the air because it's finally time for another season of Bridgerton. The Netflix Regency romance series is loosely based on the best-selling novels by Julia Quinn and adapted by Shonda Rhimes and her production company Shondaland. The series name comes from the show's central family. Violet Bridgerton is the mother of 8 children and dreams of seeing each of them married for love. Each season follows a different Bridgerton child on their quest for marital bliss, with the anonymous gossip columnist Lady Whistledown commenting and documenting everything that goes on. When it premiered in December 2020, the series instantly became a smash success. It has already launched a spin off limited series in the first half of season 3 for Bridgerton, premiered on May 16th. The second half of the season will follow in June. The SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes in 2023 delayed Bridgerton season 3 from premiering, making it 2 years since we've had new episodes of the flagship series. We know fans love to rewatch, but we also don't blame you if you don't remember everything that went down in the ton in the previous seasons. Televisions is here to catch you up and remind you of everything you need to know before, if you haven't already watched part 1, before Bridgerton season 3 arrived. And so including what you may have missed on Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. Okay, so season 1, the romance. Bridgerton season 1 focused on Daphne, the eldest daughter of the Bridgerton family, and her relationship with Duke Simon Hastings. The two paired up early on in the series in a fake dating scheme to save Daphne from having to marry her brother Antony's choice of suitor, and for Simon to avoid cloying mamas, desperate to, or mamas, how they pronounce it,
Mama.
desperate to pair him up with their eligible daughters. Daphne and Simon's quick banter soon paved the way for their genuine sexual chemistry and love. Antony caught them making out, a huge no-no in the Regency era, and the two were forced to marry. The only problem, Simon told Daphne they wouldn't have any children. Whoa. Daphne was willing to give up her dreams of having a large family when she thought Simon's declaration meant that he couldn't have children. When she discovered that he simply refused to have children despite his dead, abusive father, their marriage almost imploded. The duo were able to repair their broken trust after Simon purposefully misled her about what was going on between them in the bedroom, and Daphne forced Simon to completion during one of their intimate escapades, which is very, very, very complicated and anyway, it was not a great moment for her or the show. Problematic, that's what it was. Simon realized that creating a happy life with Daphne, the woman he loved, was more important than sticking it to his dad, who was no longer alive, to feel the spite. The two remained married, and Daphne gave birth to a baby boy nearly a year later, while Antony decided it was time for him to start looking for a wife. So, the cliffhanger. Throughout season 1, Daphne and Simon's romance, along with all the other gossip in the town, was chronicled by the mysterious Lady Whistledown, voiced by the iconic Julie Andrews. The end of season 1 revealed that wallflower Penelope Featherington was actually writing the scathing newsletters that the entire town was obsessed with. So, other important notes. Antony may be the eldest boy of Bridgerton, but his brother Benedict is the fan favorite. The audience fell in love with Benedict's dreamer spirit and his art school aspirations, and also picked up on the tension between him and Sir Henry Granville, though it did not come to anything. Colin Bridgerton fell for the Farrington cousin, Marina, only to discover that she was pregnant out of wedlock. Also a huge no-no in Regency era. Colin was willing to marry her anyway until a column from Lady Whistledown exposed the scandal, and Marina ended up with the brother of the father of her baby after learning that her former lover had died at war. Last important note, Penelope's father, Baron Featherington, was murdered at the end of season 1, leaving the family, including Mother Portia Featherington and unmarried sisters Prudence and Philippa, penniless after he gambled away their entire fortune. This all sounds like a telenovela.
Yeah.
But what did we think of season 1?
Man, it's crazy. I should have rewatched everything before season 3, part 1, because I do not remember
Yeah.
Penelope's dad being there. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember anything about Anthony. I thought he was just like a wallflower, kind of like Penelope. I forgot Penelope's childy ways. She wanted Colin to herself. So she said, "Cousin, you can't have him because I will have him in season 3." Little did we know. So, what did I think? Okay, a little spoiler, guys. It's not even that serious. But seeing season 3, part 1, my favorite season is season 1 because of
Mm-hmm.
the whole love story, like the sexual chemistry. Like, you just want to be in that era. And I think that season 1 is not as raunchy, I feel, as season 2 and 3. So we started like very prim and proper, sort of, in this Regency era. And the worst thing that probably happened was the flirtation and the kiss forced Daphne and Simon to get married. Season 2 gets a little more scandalous, as we'll talk about it later, in the gazebo, and season 3 just blew it out of the water. Okay, guys, that's all I'm gonna say. But dreamy Simon Hastings, I'm so upset he doesn't like come out anymore, and I don't know what happened. Shonda, let's rework this, please. Let's bring Daphne back. I really love like the innocence that she portrayed, and like he was like, "I am
Mm-hmm.
the man," kind of thing. I know
Um,
that might sound kind of like Eldris, where's the feminist in you? Like, you don't need all that, but it was the era, and that's what I loved. And I love that he like
yeah.
overcame his, I guess, anger towards his dad and realized that he needed to live a happy life. And after that, and after he reconciled with all those thoughts, he had a great life with Daphne. And they seemed like very in
Mhm.
love and smitten, which was a great love story to me. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think season 1 will probably be my favorite for a while. Because it was our introduction to the Ton, it was our introduction to the Bridgertons, and of course to the Duke, who we all loved so much. Um, so the whole thing about him being gone, apparently, I think he said something along the lines of he could not continue doing Bridgerton because he had other more pressing projects, some, Hollywood career that he was after or whatnot. Listen,
Boo.
I mean, I feel like you can multitask, my guy. Essentially, you would just be doing guest spots because your season is done, so you don't have to do the hard work anymore. You just appear and look magnificent, and that's it.
I know.
But anyway, um, I thought the love story between, the Duke and Daphne was really cute. There was some problematic things, of course, but I don't know. I believed their chemistry. I believed like that he burned for her or whatever. And
Those
so like
lines.
so it was really interesting. Now, as far as Lady Whistledown, I would have never expected it to be Penelope. I love that it's Penelope, but I would have never expected it to be her. And it's very interesting the dynamics of how all of that went down because she seems so innocent and prim and proper, and Lady Whistledown was spilling all the tea, in a very creative way. So I definitely give her props for that. Now as far as like all the other Bridgerton siblings, we don't really get like obviously too much into them because this is Daphne's story. Anthony was not likable to me in season
Mhm.
1. So I did not know how they were gonna make him likable in season 2. Boy, was I wrong. But anyway, Benedict, I feel like they were going somewhere with him season 1, and it's just flatlined every season since. And Colin, obviously,
What? He's like,
why?
because he seems like the mysterious kind, like you can't settle me down. Like I just like what I like, kind of thing. So,
Okay.
spoiler, he has some action going on in season 3, and I'm like, see, he's just a free spirit. I love his personality. I love that he reminds me of Prince Oberyn. I know we're back to Game of Thrones. He gives me that vibe.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
love him.
Okay. I mean, I like him. He definitely was my favorite Bridgerton brother from like, on season 1. But I would have liked to have seen some more interesting aspects to him. I feel like in season 2, for example, they explored more of him like wanting to be an artist and all these things, but he seems, and maybe the actor's just doing a really good job because he seems like a lost, you say mysterious, I say lost. He seems like a lost soul a little bit, like he doesn't know his place as far as like, what to do or who to become, which makes sense, right? He's the second brother, so he doesn't have the responsibility of the eldest, but he also doesn't have the full carefree aspect of the baby, which is, oh, technically Gregory, but I'm thinking Colin. Anyway, so I feel like he just seems a little bit lost. And so the seasons that have transpired after 1, when it comes to his character, I just don't feel like they've done much justice to him. And I'm hoping that this is all just a big setup for when it is his season, because I've heard some things about his season and they're pretty good. So I'm looking forward to
What
it.
have you heard?
Because I can't tell you that. I mean, this is just based
Oh,
off of like what these book readers are posting online, and obviously we can't give no spoilers. But yeah, so that was that. Anyway, and then my final thoughts on season 1. I did like, and maybe this is something that I hadn't really fully thought about, but after seeing season 3 part 1, I do like the parents' involvement. Normally some of these shows are just about like the teens or the young people and everything. But I kind of like the older characters. I love Lady Danbury, like love her. And then the Bridgerton mom, she's awesome. And the queen is hilarious. So anyway, that was my final thought with season 1. Should we continue to
yep.
season 2? Alrighty. Whew. So season two's romance. Season 2 turned the focus to Antony, the eldest Bridgerton child and the Viscount of the town. After seeing his father die from a bee sting when he was only 18, Antony refused to marry for love in case he should also suffer an early death. He did not want his wife to be heartbroken like his mother. He entered an engagement with the charming Edwina Shawarma despite having a contentious and passionate relationship with her older sister, Kate. Antony and Kate tried their best to ignore their feelings for each other under the misguided notion that it was the best for both of their families. But Edwina realized what was going on during her and Antony's wedding and called the whole thing off. Kate and Antony then had a long apology tour to go on for wasting everyone's time. They still struggled to give up their roles as family martyrs, but when a horseback riding accident led to Kate being concussed, Antony realized he couldn't live without her. The two got married and stopped hiding from everyone that they were pathologically obsessed with each other. So, the cliffhanger of season 2. Eloise almost gave up finding Lady Whistledown after starting a scandalous romance with a radical newspaper boy. When the queen catches wind, Eloise hangs around the printer and decides that the second Bridgerton she decides that the second Bridgerton daughter must be Lady Whistledown. The queen decides this, and demands that she turn herself in. Penelope writes a scathing column about Eloise's affair in Whistledown to take the heat off of Eloise as a suspect, but the column does more damage to Eloise's reputation than even the queen would have done. It also leads Eloise to discover that Penelope is the one who has been behind Whistledown the entire time. Their friendship is destroyed when Eloise finally confronts Penelope and Penelope refuses to give up on writing the
Mhm.
column. So, other important notes. Benedict finally went to art school but dropped out when he discovered Antony had paid for him to get in. No Nepo babying for our boy. Colin was overheard at the Featherington ball saying that he would never court Penelope Featherington. Penelope had never suspected her childhood crush of turning into marriage, but hearing him declare it so adamantly to a crowd really hurt. Portia, who's the Featherington mother, started a romance with Jack, the new Baron Featherington, hoping to pull the family out of debt. When Portia realized that Jack was a fraud and would also lead the family to ruin, she took the money he had collected and sent him packing. However, it did get Philippa married to her true love, Albion Finch, who is sweet though not well off. And now one of her remaining daughters must marry well to keep the family in good graces. Okay, what did we think about season two?
I really didn't like Edwina. I know that might not be a popular opinion, but I just thought she was a kid compared to Anthony's glow up or Anthony's glow up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
he needed a strong woman, and this was a child. And,
That's
and
true.
Kate was giving him the smoke that he needed. So I'm glad that it turned like passionate. It was that like love hate relationship, like little
Yeah.
kids picking on each other. I hate you, but I love you, kind of thing. So I appreciated that.
Yeah,
I really didn't care for the sister. I
yeah.
thought she was a little brat to begin with.
Interesting. Okay. What did you think about the situation with Eloise and Penelope? That broke my heart.
It really did. Penelope handled this all wrong. She should have just told her bestie, hey, I'm Lady Whistledown. I got to write some smack about you to take the heat off. Don't get mad. Okay. I think if she just would have been honest, this wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
But I can see why Eloise was like really upset. And then we see this go
Yeah.
on throughout season 3 now, which is kind of devastating. So I really didn't like that two best friends are no longer friends.
Yeah. I think like I can understand that Penelope was scared to really let anybody know about her identity, because during that time, that period, that era, it would have been insane. Plus she knew that the queen was adamant about finding out who Lady Whistledown was. And yeah, okay, I can understand the fear, but I agree with you. She should have talked to Eloise. That was her bestie, and Eloise could have probably helped her come up with a better like way to like redirect the
Hmm.
queen, so that the attention would be away from Eloise, and instead it just blew everything up in a way that I don't think it really needed to. But maybe in part two, hopefully they can reconcile, because so far it's not looking that good, and that is very heartbreaking for me because I was like,
Hmm.
no, I love them, and it was like one of the few relationships on the show where it's just two best friends. It's not about them wanting to marry each other or anything like that. It was just a friendship, a genuine friendship. Versus, all of the girls in the town wanting to find a husband, or Anthony trying to find a wife but not love. Like it was different. So I which is why I also enjoy the relationship between Lady Danbury and at the time in season 2 still Viscountess Bridgerton, because it seems like genuine. There's care there. And so it was really disappointing that the way in which things ended with them. And I mean, Anthony and Kate, like, of course they were meant to be together. I don't, like, you could just tell from like the first moment they meet, which is crazy because I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like it just completely, I feel like it took me a second between connecting the Duke and Daphne in
Hmm.
season 1. Eventually I think I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah. They make sense. They work, right?" And I think it helped that they did the whole like friends to lovers kind of situation. Um but with Anthony and Kate,
Hmm.
immediately first scene. Oh yeah, those two.
Yeah.
Those two work. They work. Okay. So, any final thoughts on season 2?
Nope.
Okay. Now, this next part, our friend E here has some explaining to
Oh.
do because she's not watched Queen Charlotte. I'm gonna still read you guys the info. She's agreed to getting some spoilers.
But see, guys, the reason I haven't watched it is just because it looks so sad. I mean, you see like a king and then he's dealing with all these like like health issues, and it just looks like such a sad story, and I'm just not ready to watch it. I know I'm committed. I'm going to watch it. It's just I'm not mentally prepared to watch it.
Okay, well we need you to get mentally ready because, ma'am, we're already past part 1 of
Okay.
season 3. We don't need to get to season 4. Oh yeah, I haven't watched Queen Charlotte. All right, so Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story, the romances. Queen Charlotte is a prequel limited series that primarily tells the story of how young Queen Charlotte's romance with King George was forged. It was an arranged marriage, but George completely charmed Charlotte before the wedding ceremony when he caught her trying to escape over the garden wall. They tied the knot in the first episode, but then George immediately distances himself because he doesn't want Charlotte to discover he is prone to delusions and mental breaks. The two are forced by the societal expectation for them to produce an heir to consummate the marriage, which not only forces them to be in physical proximity to each other, but also to let their guards down. George became more endeavored to heal his psychosis and volunteered for dangerous experimental treatments without Charlotte's knowledge. When she eventually discovered what was going on, she immediately put a stop to it, and the couple's confrontation about it led to one of the most romantic declarations in all of the Bridgerton universe. George stopped trying to fix himself, and Charlotte helped guide him through being king as best as she could. Oh, that was so beautiful. Okay, so other important notes. Queen Charlotte also explains how Charlotte championed giving people of color titles within the ton. Lady Agatha Danbury became a close friend of Charlotte's and helped her see why the new title holders needed her help. The limited series oscillated between young Charlotte and George's early days to the present day between Bridgerton season 2 and 3. In the future timeline, Charlotte's main mission was to get one of her underachieving children to produce an heir for the crown so their father's legacy wouldn't end with them. One of her daughters was pregnant with a potential heir by the end of the season. After the death of her first husband, Lady Danbury struck up an unexpected romance with Lord Ledger, Violet Bridgerton's father. The affair was brief but meaningful for both of them. It was kept a secret until adult Violet discovered that Lady Danbury possessed one of her father's birthday crowns. Well, we can't really discuss much,
We'll
but
come back to it.
we will. I will say that obviously E and I have watched plenty of shows, plenty of TVs, series, movies and stuff, and we've been to all the universes. The Bridgerton universe so far with this one edition of Queen Charlotte, I think was brilliant. Queen Charlotte was done so well. It was such a good show. And in a way, I feel like it could almost rival season 1 of Bridgerton because it was different, and having that backstory I think was really good. When shows do prequels, it's generally hit or miss, but I feel like this really hit. Like this was really good, and it helps you to really understand these older characters that we see in the Bridgerton universe, like Queen Charlotte, like Lady Danbury, like Violet, um, specifically Lady Danbury and Queen Charlotte. But it was just such a good prequel. It was really well done, and I was genuinely surprised because prequels usually aren't that great. So anyway, he's got to watch it. All right, so what to expect in the upcoming season 3? Well, we've already seen part 1, but what to expect? All right. So Bridgerton season 3 is centered on Penelope and Colin's romance and adapted the Romancing Mr. Bridgerton novel. It is a friend to lover story arc with a splash of the Cyrano trope. Colin returns to the town at the top of season 3 after traveling around the continent to find that Penelope has had a makeover and has not forgiven him for his declaration at the Featherington ball about never wanting to court her. To make amends, he offers to tutor her in flirting so that she can find a husband and escape her suffocating house. However, the lessons work too well, and Colin finds himself rethinking his previous claims about Penelope and worrying that it might be too late to do anything about the new revelations. Meanwhile, Penelope is balancing her search for a husband while writing Lady Whistledown. The latter task is made harder by the fact that her best friend is still not speaking to her. Is Penelope really willing to let her prowess as Lady Whistledown trump her years of friendship with Eloise? Penelope is not the only one questioning things. Lady Bridgerton is also thinking about the future after late second intimate awakening during Queen Charlotte. Fans will be eager to see if love is in the cards for the Dowager Viscountess and whether she'll bring it up to Lady Danbury, who she still hasn't confronted about sleeping with her father when they were both much younger. We so yeah, it's like I said, season 3 part 1, it already premiered this past Thursday, May 16th, and part 2 arrives Thursday, June 13th.
So I they've really been working on this Penelope Colin storyline. And I think I said in one of our previous videos where we saw the trailer, it's like this is going to be one
Mhm.
of those I don't like her, but then when she wants to move on and she gets this, total makeover, very 90s, kind of like She's All That. Remember that movie? They
Yeah.
get this makeover, they
Yeah.
look good, to be like, all right, fine, we're done. Mentally, I'm done with you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna move on. Then they want you back. They want you back, or
Yeah.
they want you. It's like, oh, you were here all along, and I love you now.
Right.
Unfortunately, or fortunately for Penelope, it all works out as we've
Mhm.
seen. But man, I just want to talk about season 3, but I'm not. Um, I think they're doing the most with the with the
Ooh.
trailer, with the storyline, but we'll discuss it, in our other video, our real thoughts for part 1.
Our real thoughts. Well, yeah, I agree. I'm the only other thing I'll say is just I want Penelope and Eloise to mend their friendship, like ASAP.
Mhm.
Y'all are driving me crazy. Put them in a room together, work it out.
Yeah, because now she's
Yeah.
friend with Crescenda, and that's not working. It's actually rocking my nerves.
Isn't it
Cressida,
Cressida? Is it
Cressida. I'm
Cressida?
like Crescenda. I'm thinking of croissant and and a crescent moon. Cressida.
I hope that's her name. I just remember Cowper is her last name,
You know
but
more
yeah.
than me. So yeah, this friend,
Mhm.
she's no good. It's like one of those friends that your mom says don't be friends with her. That's her. Crescenda. What was her name?
Yeah.
Cressida. Cressida.
Cressida.
We can't even say her name. She's irrelevant, guys. But guys, that concludes
Well,
today. Yeah, that concludes today's video. Let us know what you think about season 1 and season 2. Which season has been your favorite? Let us know what you think season 3 is going to be about. Are you looking forward to it? Did you already watch it? Let us know in the comments. We'll like to have this conversation with you. And who's your favorite, like, I guess, couple so far? Is it Daphne and
Mhm.
Simon? Is it Anthony and Kate? Is it going to be Penelope and Colin? Let us know. But that
Okay.
concludes today's video. If you haven't
Interesting.
already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends can be our friends. We can all be friends. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
We are on Instagram and TikTok at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, comment. You can also listen to the videos in podcast format via YouTube Music and Spotify.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.